My goodness, we are at 2%, but we're only a kilometer away, eh?
Yep. Well,
okay.
It's my first time driving the Kona, but managed to get it to as low of a state of charge as it's ever been.
Yeah, 2%. Ooh, cutting it close. And we're getting turtle here, so we're getting turtle mode. But we're right here at the charging station. Yeah, this is really cutting it close, eh? Good morning, everybody. We are getting ready to go on our road trip from Calgary all the way to Seattle. We're gonna try to make it there in one single day. So our first stop today would be Sparwood, which is 270 kilometers away, and we're starting with 90% battery in the vehicle. Our battery is really warm. It's somewhere around 29 degrees, and therefore we are not gonna get cold gating. So throughout this trip, we're going to put all the essential information on these title cards at the beginning of each leg of the journey. I won't talk about all the numbers, just any important numbers and any surprising numbers. So let's get ready and let's go. We have arrived in Sparwood, and this is the BC Hydro charging station. So yes, we are already in BC. It took us about 3 hours to get here from Calgary. It was 280 kilometers. We arrived with 21% battery, which is just a little more than we thought, but hey, that's always welcome. That means we don't need to pay as much for charging here. We are planning on charging here for probably about an hour. We're gonna get up to around 80%-ish, and then we'll go on from there. But first, let us show you a little surprise that we're carrying with us on this journey. What is this surprise that we're bringing with us? Well, we have 2 extra electric vehicles with us, and there they are. So we brought our Jetson electric bikes with us, and we're hoping to use this in different scenarios on our trip. But since we're going to Seattle, which is a very bike-friendly city, we thought we would be biking around instead of driving everywhere. As you can see, we have created this cardboard carrier for the 2 bikes that fits perfectly inside the vehicle. And additionally, we have a way to route charging cables from the front of the vehicle to the back. And let's show you how this charging cable setup works. Let's start at the beginning of the power source. So what we have is, in the Kona, we have one 12-volt outlet from within the vehicle. So it's under there. And what we have is this big 900-watt power inverter, which converts the DC current from the 12-volt socket into 120-volt AC. And what we have plugged into here are the 2 plugs for the charging cable for each of the e-bikes. And if we follow the wire from here all the way up to here, and through this hole we made in the casing for the carrier of the bike, we can go all the way up here. This is the brick. So this is the AC adapter for the e-bike, one of them. We got 2, the other one's down there. And as you can see, there is a red light. and that means it is charging. So this is what we can do while we are driving, which is when we're parked, we can use our e-bikes, and that will drain the battery. And then when we're driving, we can park these e-bikes inside our vehicles and charge them up while we're driving. Something else that's important about replicating this setup is you need to know how much power each of your devices is drawing. Despite the fact that this is a 900 watt inverter, the 12 volt outlet inside the Kona can only supply 180 watts. So all of your devices' power has to be under 180 watts. Each of these Jetson e-bikes power adapter draws 54 watts. So together that's 108 watts, which is way under the 180 watt limit of the Kona. So if you pull more than 180 watts, I think you will probably burn out the fuse. We have finished charging here in Sparwood. We charged up to 78%, which is a bit more than we need. Our next stop is Cranbrook, that is 130 kilometers away, so it'll take about an hour and 30 minutes, and we will see you there. Welcome to Cranbrook. So we are here and we arrived with 56% battery and we are plugged into one of these flow chargers and we're charging. So there is another cheaper charger, a BC Hydro charger that is a bit ways over there, and that one's cheaper, but that one is occupied, so we're here now. Our next stop will be in Spokane. We're planning to go to the United States for our next charging stop, and we're going to charge up to about 80% battery, just so we have enough to get there, and we have options to charge in between as well. So, in the United States, there's a little bit of a complication because we're planning on using a lot of Electrify America charging stations, and we have a small problem. That's because for us Canadians, we do not have an American address. And in order to have a proper Electrify America app, you need to link a credit card that has a valid US address. We don't have that, so we do not have a Electrify America app. So that means we're relying on the credit card reader on their charging station to work. And the credit card readers are known to be very finicky. Sometimes they don't work. If that happens, we need to call their helpline, and we may be on the phone for a while. So I hope there's no charging shenanigans with Electrify America charging stations, but we might have some trouble. Well, we are back on the road again. We finished charging in Cranbrook. We only needed to be there for about 23 minutes, I think. And now we're back up to 80%, and then we're heading to the United States. So our next intended stop would be in Spokane, which is exactly 300 kilometers away. So this will be the longest stretch today that we drive, where we plan to have no charging stops in between. Our consumption's been really good right now, so if they continue to be the same way, which is between 6 and 7 kilometers per kilowatt hour, then we should be okay. But we'll keep an eye on the consumption. If it is too high for some reason, we're gonna go to one of the charging stations in between. There's a place called the Bonus Ferry. There's a DC fast charger there. We'll stop there if we need to. But if our consumption keeps up being good, then we'll head right to Spokane. Well, we are at the US border. Gonna go across soon. Hopefully there's no trouble getting across. And we'll meet you on the other side. We have arrived in Spokane. So we are in the United States now. This is Spokane in Washington State. So it was a 300 kilometers journey and it took about 4 hours to drive. There's a little bit of delay at the border. There were a lot of cars, so we had to wait for a bit. But we are here. We have arrived with 14% battery. That's a little bit more than we planned. We actually planned to arrive with about 5%. And the reason is because the temperature has really risen. It's right now over 30 degrees Celsius. So it's really warm, and when it's warm, consumption is very good, so use less power. Now we're plugged into this specific 50 kilowatt charger. This is a Shell recharge station, and it is, like I said, 50 kilowatts. As you have noticed, we have gotten our bikes out. So these are Jetson Bolt Pros. These are tiny single gear foldable e-bikes. We have named them very appropriately. This one is the Model S. This is the Model X. We have left Spokane behind and we are driving. Well, John is driving now, so he's substituting for me in a little bit. And in Spokane, what we did was we charged the car to a really high state of charge, and that's because we need to spend a bit of time there to have lunch. So we plugged it in at a DC fast charger, then we took our little e-bikes, our Model S and Model X, then we rolled around the downtown area and had lunch. When we came back, the vehicle was charged to 85%, and we thought, okay, state of charge is too high now, we need to put it onto a level 2. So that was on level 2 for a while, and we left Spokane with 89% battery. So that's quite a lot of battery. Oh, we are at 6% now. We have 13 more kilometers to go until we get to Ellensburg's Electrify America charging station. John, do you think we can make it?
I don't know. We've done everything possible to reduce our energy consumption. We've turned off our inverter. We've limited our speed to just like well under the speed limit, which is 112 kilometers an hour. So from here on out, it's Papa Elon's hand.
Yeah. All right, we're here. Electrify America. Woo. All right, we're here. 2% battery. Was that close or not?
Yeah, that was as close as it's
Was
gonna
that
get.
close? Oh my goodness, 2%. I've only brought it down to 2% once before on purpose to see what would happen, but never on a road trip. Let's go plug in. We have been charging for a bit now. Let's take a look at the charging speed. 70 kilowatts, that's basically as fast as we can get right now on the Kona. We're planning to charge to about 75%, and our destination is Tacoma, so we need that to get there with a bit of buffer. So something I do want to mention with these Electrify America chargers is that same with the Electrify Canada ones, they're a bit finicky. So we have mentioned that previously we were not able to get an app account because of the credit card address issues. So we had to rely on the card reader here to use a credit card. We had to try it about 3 times with 2 different cards, and finally worked for us. So these are a bit finicky. Okay, so we're gonna charge about 75%, and then we're gonna head to Tacoma. So we'll see you there. So, a little bit of change of plans. We're only about 30 kilometers west of Ellensburg, and we decided to come here to charge. So we're at a Shell Recharge 50 kilowatt DC fast charger. And this is a town, I believe it's called Cle Elum, I think that's what it's called. So why did we come here? Well, the reason is because before we get to Seattle, or Tacoma, we have to make a big climb up a mountain, and then we'll go downhill. We've noticed the consumption really went up, so it got to like 4.0 kilometers per kilowatt hour, which is 25 kilowatt hour for 100 kilometers. That's really high consumption for summer. So we just want to top this up to 80%. So we started charging with 68% battery. We just want to top it up to 80, just to make sure we can make it over the mountain safely, and then everything is downhill, which will be good for an EV. So I think eventually when we get to Tacoma, if we finish charging at 80% here, we may have 30% battery remaining. But I would rather have 30% battery left, charging too much, than to get stuck in the middle of the highway somewhere. So we're gonna charge for about 10 minutes, and then we're gonna keep going to Tacoma. Well, we are finally here. So this is the Electrify American charger in South Hill. So this is really close to Tacoma, and basically we're really close to our hotel. We're gonna top up for a bit, and we're gonna finish charging at about 75% in preparation for what we're gonna do tomorrow. Now, the last leg of the journey, we came here with 39% battery, which means we didn't really have to charge at that Shell recharge station. But the thing is, we didn't quite know the route, and we didn't quite know the terrain. So we were worried that we won't have enough juice to come here, but turned out we didn't really have to charge there. Now, this particular Electrify America charger didn't give us any trouble. We just used the card reader, and the credit card, and this seems to just work. And of course, we're getting fairly good speed, 73 kilowatts. That is as fast as we can get right now on the Kona. So our entire trip today is around 1,200 kilometers. That's a very long distance, and I definitely appreciate the fact that, you know, there are two of us and we can alternate driving so none of us gets too fatigued. The consumption for this entire day is 6.1 kilometers per kilowatt hour, which is quite good for long distance driving. There were a couple of parts that were a little bit nerve-wracking. Of course, we got down to 2% in one place, and we realized what happened was we were facing 35 kilometers per hour headwind. So that's very important. Now, this will be the end of the first part of our video, and join us next time where we focus a little less on the driving and focus more on the tourist attractions here around Seattle and Mount Olympic National Park. So yes, please join us for the next part of the video. My name is Solomon, and behind the camera is John, and we'll see you on the next one.